Thanks for tuning in to Know Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave, and today we'll be discussing the hottest trends in wine right now, and that's dry rosés. Perfect for summer, rosé wines are not really reds, they're not really whites, but they're somewhere in between, and that's what broadens their appeal. Now, rosé wines have been around as long as winemaking itself, literally thousands of years. But back in the old ancient Greek, Roman, and Phoenician days, it was more utilitarian. We had black or red grapes, we had white grapes, we put them together and we got basically a pink wine. Well, today's winemakers use various techniques to influence the color, the weight, and the dryness of the rosé wine. So let's think about the grape itself. In order to get color in our wine, we must get the color from the skin. Think about the last time you went and you bought a table grape at the store. If you bit into it, you'd look in the center and all of the pulp is clear. So we only get color from the skin itself. So there's three techniques that are utilized to bring the color into the rosé wine. The first was invented by the French, and it has a French name called saugny. And if we translate saugny into English, it basically means to bleed. So what the French will do is they'll take the wine, or take the grapes, and they'll crush them very, very gently and bleed off the first 20 or 30% of the grape juice. That gives it a very, very light color, almost like onion skin, and then they begin the fermentation after that. Now what's left with what's behind will be used for a deep red, full-bodied, very tannic type of wine. The second method would be to crush the grapes and leave the skins in contact with the juice during maceration or fermentation for a very limited time period. So let's think between 1 and 3 days. That only gives it a twinge of color and allows the winemaker to control how dark they'd like the wine to be. The third method, which is really not in favor with winemakers around the world, is that old ancient way. And let's take red grapes, let's take white grapes, and let's mix the two together. It's kind of a cheat, so definitely not something you want to do. Most high quality rosés are dry in style, but no talk about rosé would be complete without talking about the biggest mistake in rosé history that ended up being the biggest boom in rosé history. In 1975, the Sutter Home Wine Company was set out to make a dry version of Zinfandel Rosé. Well, they experienced a stuck fermentation. That basically means the yeast stops working and we're left behind with a lot of residual sugar and low alcohol. Well, the winemakers at that time said, what are we going to do with this particular situation? They set the wine aside, came back to it later, realized it was a semi-sweet pink wine, and said, guess what? We can sell this. And the rest is history. Grandmas around the world love white Zinfandel. And last year, Sutter Home alone sold 48 million bottles of what they've termed white Zinfandel. So what we're going to taste today is a wine, really a classic rosé. This is from Provence, France, and this is from the actual town of Bandol, and it's from a vintner by the name of Bastide Blanche. And it's a blend of Grenache, Syrah, Carignan, Cinsault, and Mourvedre. So if we look at it, it has a beautiful onion skin color, almost a little bit orange or salmon-like. If we swirl and liberate some of the aromas, we'll notice a little bit of strawberry and watermelon and raspberry on the nose. And as it rolls across the palate, we'll notice a little bit more pronounced raspberry, maybe a little bit of citrus in the background, a little bit of cherry at the core. Really beautiful acidity, kind of very well balanced, and quite delightful for a beautiful day like this. Well, I'm going to finish this wine. That's all the time we have for today. Join us next time, and soon you'll know wine in no time.